Hello and welcome to another episode of Hookzilla. This is episode number 5. I'm here with Mr. Bones once again. Tonight we just kind of want to discuss some stuff going on, like what we've been playing and kind of what I haven't been playing, and what we've been up to, because tomorrow I go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for me, like, the biggest thing, and I don't want to talk about anything like super serial that's going on in the world. That's not what this is about.
It's a shit show.
It is, but yes.
But that's not what this podcast is about. So.
No. So for anyone who kind of expected that to be what this episode was, you're not going to get that here. I'm not going to put my personal political beliefs out there. So, but I will say that I have been playing video games that I otherwise wouldn't normally play. But I haven't played Destiny in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And at first I almost mourned not playing, but I didn't want to play.
Yeah.
I got an Instant Pot, so I was like, I'll play with the Instant Pot and I'll make food. So I did that.
Yeah, this is without a doubt like the worst era for Destiny 2 since Destiny 2 became a thing. And I like, it's like there have been times where there was a lack of content, or there was like the player base was upset about, not having things to do or whatever. But since moving to a seasonal model, and their assurance, that they were going to be delivering content and doing all these things. And I know, like, it's quarantine and stuff like that. So like you kind of can't hate them you can't hate Bungie for like how that portion of it played out. But at the same time, like if they were going to tell this story, which isn't even that big of a story, it's just the Red Legion, attempting to crash the Almighty into the last city, which is it's fine if that's, the small chunk of story they're going to tell for this particular season. And then, opening Rasputin and setting up defenses and stuff like that. But we're literally,
2 days.
2 days away from the last reset of this season.
Yeah.
There are 9 days left, and we've gotten a cutscene and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe like that. There's no story.
And
there's nothing.
We all know that's kind of the biggest issue with this game, is those of us who like the story, like those of us who get kind of into it.
Mm-hmm.
You give me, it's like being baited, and then
right. Exactly.
At the last minute, I get nothing.
Exactly.
It's such a letdown. So,
but you have to follow 19 different YouTubers who do deep dives on lore, and you have to go and read all these lore tabs and all this stuff. There's so much good story there, and you get to experience none of it while you play the game.
Maybe the reason, and I could be wrong, maybe the reason is that other people who play this game don't find the lore as interesting as you and I do.
I don't think it's that. I think it's a Bungie thing. I think Bungie are like the masters of coming up with these concepts and then fumbling in the execution of it gameplay-wise. Because if you play like Halo or Halo 2, Halo 3, like they're amazing games to play. Like if you just want to play a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to follow it and follow the story of these things and have it be a coherent experience, it's non-existent. It's like you play Halo 2 or even Halo 3, like Halo 3. I've played through that game, I can't tell you how many times. And I still don't understand the part where suddenly you're fighting with not the Covenant. Who are the like aliens ones? It's been too fucking long. I can't remember.
haven't played Halo in like a decade.
you're fighting along with those things that like infect the dead bodies and resurrect them. And God damn it, I can't remember what they're called. But like you start the level off with them on your side, then you get to the end of the level, and then they're against you again. And I'm like what? Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't understand. And so like it's the same thing with Destiny. It's like they created this amazing universe, and they've written amazing stories within this universe. But then you play the game, and it's been a problem since Destiny first became a thing. It's like, it's an amazing universe. There are amazing stories written within this universe, and you get none of that if you just play the game.
No.
And I don't know what Bungie's issue is when it comes to that. But this is like the worst season of Destiny 2 ever. And then part of it is because of quarantine, and they're all working from home. And again, you can't fault them for that. You know, they're doing the right thing.
And at the end of the day, like, I tend to be one of those that when people start talking shit about Destiny or Bungie, I'm like, well, it's still my favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still love it more than anything else.
The Flood, god damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sorry.
But when things like this happen, and there's a season that I just don't like as much, I just don't say anything typically. But this one is by far the worst one I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
For me, and I just haven't played.
Even when I've not liked Destiny, I've still played Destiny, and even I'm taking a break from it right now.
Yeah. I mean, same. Like, I just
That's the thing.
I don't rush home to play.
Right.
When it's not the greatest stuff going on. Like, October, I'm going to rush home to play. Like, that's kind of the time for me.
Well, we'll get the fall update, which will be probably what I'm guessing will be the last, like, really big DLC. It may not be. You know, because they're saying now there may never be a Destiny 3. It just may just be this is Destiny. They may change it from Destiny 2 and Destiny just be like Fortnite or anything else that's a perpetual thing, and they'll just release content going forward. So
who knows?
Yeah.
But instead of playing Destiny, I realized I could do other things. Like, we got Borderlands 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I never played Borderlands. Like, I played Borderlands 2 with my friend Steph.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed that. It was fun.
Yeah.
I think me, Steph, and Sean played Borderlands 2 a handful of times, but I enjoyed it. And then we've played Borderlands 3 and streamed it a few times, and it's fun. I've enjoyed that. But the biggest shock to me, as far as like new games I started playing, was when the new Assassin's Creed game was announced. I was super in because it's Valhalla, and I was like, fuck yes, Vikings. But I also have hated Assassin's Creed games. Like, I tried to play one years ago, like maybe the first one, and it was just, the movement wasn't a thing for me. I didn't like it. So I've never really been into the idea of playing one. But the subject matter for Odyssey was interesting, so I started playing that, and I can't stop. Apparently the thing I didn't like about Assassin's Creed, either I suck less at video games now, and I can handle that, or it's better in this one, but...
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not the world's largest Assassin's Creed fan. I think that's pretty well documented at this point based on my other podcast with Binky, and Binky loves Assassin's Creed. It's like one of his favorite series, and Odyssey is his favorite Assassin's Creed, I think. I can't remember.
He's Black Flag.
I know he's said Black Flag a lot, but I think at this point Odyssey has changed his mind. I can't 100% say for sure, but
well, if so, I absolutely understand. I love mythology in general, and everything is so gorgeous.
It is a very good looking game. I watched him stream it. And so you don't get the full experience with that, because it's, the bit rate and this, that, and the other thing. You're watching a live stream, and like we want to believe that, we're 100% there when it comes to all that stuff. We're still not. When somebody's live streaming something, there's there's grain, and it's just not, it's watchable, but you don't get to see it like you do if you're sitting in the room with it.
Right.
And like, I watched him play most of Origins and Odyssey while he was streaming, and watching you play it here, even today, I was just looking at the game like, good, this is gorgeous. And like, it's on an Xbox One S. Like, I don't even have an X. Like, we have a 4K TV, but the Xbox isn't capable of doing HDR, 4K, 60 frames, whatever, all that bullshit that I don't fucking really typically care about. But I'm sitting there watching this game, and I'm just like, this is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. And I played most of the day today and lost track of time and realized, oh my God, like, I've been doing this for hours.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably stop. Which, if I do that with a game, like if I don't stay conscious of the fact that I've been doing this for X, Y, and Z amount of time, it's because I like the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's why I didn't play Destiny before I had to go to work, because I didn't want to be late for work. And I know, like with Destiny specifically, I absolutely love that game, so I can immerse myself in it and lose track of time. I did that today. And I felt horrible because you got stuck watching me do it. There are a few things like, I didn't realize how huge this map was going to be until today when I zoomed out and was like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. I'm not mad. It's just going to be a while. Because I tend to play things where I'm like, I have to get everything in this area before I move on.
Mm-hmm.
Today I kind of deviated away from that and just kind of explored the map a little bit. But when I first played, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? I don't remember. My days don't exist anymore. It was yesterday morning. Because that's when I had to go get that necklace out of the middle of the ocean. Yeah. But I tried to get everything on that one island where you start out, and I was like, everything's done here. I have to move on. But yeah, no, I'm super big fan. I feel bad for talking shit about Assassin's Creed for years and being like, I'll never play that shit because it's stupid. And now that Valhalla is coming, I am so much more excited, having played this and loving it, that maybe I will also love that. But one of the best moments of me playing this game was retrieving a necklace from a chest at the bottom of like this sunken island where you have to fight sharks. And I've never wished I was recording something as much as your reaction to me fighting sharks in a game.
Yeah, well, in my defense, I mean, they're big sharks.
They were big sharks.
And I'm afraid of sharks. So, and everybody knows that, and I get fucked with about it all the time. I don't know how anyone couldn't be afraid of sharks, but that's, beside the point. People are afraid of what they're afraid of, man. I'm not afraid of snakes, not afraid of spiders. Don't bother me. Don't care. Not afraid of the dark. Love it. Live in it. But yeah, no, I'm afraid. I have two very irrational fears, and they're well documented on the internet, but I'm deathly afraid of flying, and I'm afraid of sharks. So, and it turns out, and I learned this playing that Call of Duty game where you had to plant C4 on a submarine, but you also had to swim through this like underwater kind of wreckage of some other ship or something.
Right.
And there were sharks in there once you got down there. And if you didn't follow the prompts of the guy you were swimming behind, they would attack you. And as it turns out, I react similarly to being attacked by an aggressive virtual shark in what I could only assume is the same way that I would react to being attacked by a real shark. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, your reaction to me fighting a shark, especially when it glitched and it was like in the air for a second.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has flying sharks, y'all. Saw it.
I wished that were captured, but it's not. So,
I screamed like a bitch. I'll just go ahead and let everybody know.
It was
scared the hell out of me.
It was the most fun I've had playing this game so far. But we talk about sharks to then talk about what you've been playing, which is beautiful and amazing and exciting, and that is Maneater.
Yep, Maneater came out 9 days ago as of today. And I assume most people who are listening to this are at least familiar with it. But if not, it is a shark RPG or Shark PG.
Ooh.
It's Grand Theft Auto, but you're a shark. It's like very reminiscent of a game I played on the original Xbox called Jaws Unleashed. Only Jaws Unleashed was, first of all, the movement of the shark versus the movement of the camera was wonky as hell. And so that was my biggest concern going into this one. But this one, the controls are great, the camera's great, but you start off as a bull shark, and you're kind of, swimming around the beach and doing sharky things and, eating people and eating other fish and just, being a shark as they do. And you get captured by Scaly Pete. And he cuts you open and rips out the baby shark and kills you. And then that's sort of the intro. And at that point, the game, the actual game starts, and you're the baby that he scars but doesn't kill and throws back into the water thinking you won't survive, and you do. And so you're this like derpy baby shark when it starts. With these like horrible scars on the side of your face, but then you go around and you do missions, and you have to eat X amount of grouper in this area, or there's a crocodile because you start off in a swamp, and it's like, well, there's this apex predator crocodile, and you have to take him down, and like it's shit like that. I mean, it's like, and you move to different locations, and you start to grow, and you get to be bigger, and as you level up, you age. So like, I think now I'm still a teenage shark at this point, but I'm close to adult. And then you progress and you do missions and you get XP and you find collectibles and you do all these things. And this game has like this really tongue-in-cheek, like it's very self-aware of what it is. It doesn't take itself super seriously. So there's humor. It's very tongue-in-cheek. There's like, you'll find these like markers where you'll have to bite a road sign or something, and then it'll be like, oh, this is where they'll tell like this little bit of story that has nothing to do with the game, but it's like it's very specific to like a monument. So it's like, this was when drinking Coors Light and fan boats didn't really mix. And then you'll swim down and there'll be like a fan boat with 2 skeletons on it or 3 skeletons on it. And the one in the front is just sitting there. The one in the middle is turning around looking towards the back, but has a shotgun in his hand. And the skeleton that was driving the fan boat won't have a skull. So it's like shit went sideways for these idiots.
Right.
So and stuff like that. It's just super entertaining. It's fucking beautiful.
It is gorgeous to watch, and it's one of those things that I could watch you play for days because it is endlessly entertaining and funny and clever. but definitely beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, the controls are tight. It's fun. The story's interesting. It's fun to be a shark. And it's like, it's different. It's not just another shooter. It's not just another open world game. It's not just another, battle royale. Like it's an original, fun, new thing that makes me excited about a video game again. Because I love shooters, and Borderlands 3 is great. It's more Borderlands. But Borderlands is just another first person shooter or looter shooter. And other things are just another one of these things. And this is like something original. And we don't get this a lot. And it's exciting. It came out at like $40. And I think at some point during the first week on Amazon, it was like $33 for a physical copy of it. And it's so worth that, just for the novelty of like a new gaming experience in 2020. Because at this point, we just get shoveled the same bullshit over and over again because people will just keep buying it.
Right. I mean, and the originality of this is definitely a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it definitely is nothing like anything I've seen. So that's exciting, to have something new. So yeah, watching you be a shark has been pretty awesome. Which, you being so scared of sharks makes that funny for me.
Well, it's and the dryer's done. That's all the time we have for today. No. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
So
anyway, that's the other thing with that though, right? If something makes me feel like shit, or like a punch in the gut, or I'm absolutely terrified, I also kind of obsess over it. And so that's where my love for Maneater, it's like don't fuck around and let there be a news report. God forbid. I mean, I'm wishing this to happen, but it does happen. When there's a plane crash and it's on the news, I'm fucking glued. Like, I have to know what happened. I have to watch it.
I can't imagine being scared of flying. I mean, I get being scared of flying. It's scary anyway, but being that scared of flying.
Mm.
Or sharks.
Shark, same thing. I love Shark Week. I love it. You know why? Because I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Like, look at that. Like, this thing weighs like a ton. And is so aggressively murdery
that
it's fucking ejecting itself from the water while murdering a seal in midair and then crashing right back down to the water and swimming away.
But like regular
and just swimming away like, yeah, no, that's just what I do, man. I'm a flying murder machine.
Flying murder machine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm always fucking hungry. I don't even have to sleep.
They don't sleep.
All I do is swim around and murder. And people don't understand why I'm afraid of that.
Well, I mean, I've swam with sharks. They're not that bad. Like, those sharks, yes. But, like, they're sharks or whatever. I think once every bazillion years they hurt somebody. They typically don't do shit. They're just fish.
You know why? It's because there's not always a camera crew there to capture it when they murder people.
Maybe they murder people all the time, and I've got lucky swimming with them. Who knows? But to move on from sharks and how I would not be scared of them, but probably should be, we also have been looking for Swamp Thing comics. We've talked about that, I think, a couple episodes of this podcast specifically. Swamp Thing, Animal Man, Generation X, handful of back issues of those things. And I have had very little luck finding them locally. We've tried Heroes and Noonan.
Well, basically, not everyone listening these locations won't mean anything to you. So basically, we've looked around here everywhere we know to look.
I mean, there are probably 3 or 4 comic shops within an hour from here that we could probably check out and see. But I'm just kind of shocked in that we found a couple this weekend. and I found maybe a couple before that, but there are no Swamp Thing comics, and I don't know if that's indicating that everyone loves it and has it and wants to keep it, or nobody just has it. Nobody cares. Except for me.
It's the thing that's been a thing in comics forever. It's the reason why you can find plenty of superhero stuff, but once you start looking for something more obscure, something horror related, weird, off the beaten path kind of stuff, it's not printed as much, and it's certainly not ordered as much. Well, so it's like somebody like me who would get, like when I worked at the shop I worked at, there were so many books that we ordered one copy of because I wanted it.
Right.
But nobody else. And Swamp Thing like toes the line of being fairly well known and a popular book, but at the same time is a character that can and Animal Man's the same way, is a character that can exist as a superhero or superhero adjacent, and then have their main line, their main DC superhero-ish comic become a Vertigo comic.
Yeah.
Without even a new number one. The numbering.
Yeah.
Goes from DC, regular mainline DC to Vertigo with like from 66 to 67 or whatever the case is. And that makes perfect sense. And it doesn't sell any better and it doesn't sell any worse.
Right.
It's just a thing. And those books are always not ordered in the way that superhero books are.
And it's not disheartening in that I'm going to discontinue searching for it. It just means I may have to extend the radius of where I'm looking.
Or unfortunately, result to the internet.
And obviously that's like last ditch effort. I don't want to do that.
I don't either.
Of it.
If
it becomes a thing where I end up having to take cross country road trips to other stores to find, I'm willing to do that.
Right. Or if we end up going somewhere or something like that, like that would be a priority. And it usually is for me anyway. And I'm like, where are the comic book stores here? And where are the game stores here? And what can I find here that doesn't exist? And I don't even go that many places. But it's like, I went to Savannah for the first time in my life a couple of years ago. And I was like, and I was just getting into the idea of buying retro games. And so I was like, I need to find the flea markets and I need to find the retro stores and all that stuff. And it ultimately was disappointing. I found a store that claim to have retro games, but it's the same thing when you go to retro game stores where it's like they're gonna have plenty of like sports titles and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of Maddens and NBA Lives and all this stuff. And then they'll have a decent amount of like what I guess is considered retro at this point, but I'm old, so it doesn't feel retro to me. Right. So it's like PS2, OG Xbox.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Every time I've been to one lately, it's like 2000 to 2010 era, not before that. Right,
not NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, stuff like that is what I was really looking for. I ended up coming back with like one N64 game and then like two PS2 games and something else. Mm. So I was like, I found stuff I wanted. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
but I think maybe that's something else that I'm taking on this huge collection to seek out.
Yeah.
And to find 2 or 3 in 2 weeks, that's not bad.
It really isn't.
It's just, I guess when you're searching stores with hundreds, like 100,000 comics, you're looking at long boxes for hours and you find 2.
Yeah.
It's a little disheartening.
Well, and also knowing that once you've exhausted that resource, there's no reason to go back and look there because we've already bought
what they had. And, we've talked about the local West Point buy-sell trade. Like, our friend Tommy knows I'm looking for it. So if he comes across it, he'll, get it too. But
that's what he does for a living. So if he comes across these things or somebody brings them in the store,
he's absolutely going to be like, hey, I got these.
Right.
And that's going to be helpful, I'm sure, if he does come across some.
Yeah.
But it's definitely looking like our trip is going to have to extend a little further.
Yeah.
To seek these things out.
Which
And
is hard. It's hard to do right now.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not supposed to be doing that right now.
Everything is chaos, but
we picked the worst time in the history of the world to attempt to do this.
Of course, we would do this. Everything is falling apart around us, and we're like, let's go buy comics and set out to do this specific thing.
Yeah.
Take on this giant undertaking. Yeah, it's a thing. So if you, regardless of where you are, if you have a place that you know and that's happening.
It's fine.
Car alarms going off, it's fine. If you have a place that you know has Swamp Thing, let us know. Even if it's not local to us. I'll seek it out, and if we ever take a trip or can get in touch with these, people.
Yeah, because a lot of stores,
online.
you can buy over the phone and they'll mail them to you. So
I absolutely would do stuff like that.
Yeah.
To help out.
Because that's the thing.
Small shop.
We would rather buy them from a comic book store than order from somebody like Mile High or get on eBay or whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys know of shops anywhere, let us know, and I will seek out what I'm looking for. I think that's. I mean, like I said, having 2 or 3 in a couple of weeks should be kind of oh, that's cool, but it's also not something that's so obscure. And I've found things that I thought were super uncommon, but I would find multiples of. Yeah. And I was like, really? This is stupid. Who cares about this thing?
Right.
I did actually, thanks to Tommy at West Point Buy Sell Trade, I got my best friend's daughter, Gwenpool #1, and Lady Deadpool for her birthday, which was super awesome. So thanks, Tommy, for being able to hook her up for an awesome birthday present. So something else that I wanted to bring up was we kind of talked about YouTube channels in general, but I never mentioned the fact that I had a YouTube channel on this podcast. The YouTube channel actually came before the podcast, and it's Hookzilla. It has I do different things there, but primarily it was to watch movies and then talk about them. I've done several, specifically horror movies.
Genre stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm interested in all kinds of movies, so it doesn't have to be horror. That just tends to be my genre of choice. But the most recent video that I did, I have a Lunarly subscription, which you get a new box every new moon, so it's monthly. So I did an unboxing video for my Lunarly subscription for the Strawberry Moon, which was for June. But I got it in May. You get it in between. It's not a date in the month because it comes on the new moon. I don't know how they time that. It's pretty magical. It's very big on self-care. It's interactive with your friend. It's definitely something to make you feel better. It's a little expensive for for what I thought, but you also get a plant or a really nice candle. So, I mean, for the money, it's worth it in my opinion. But Lunarly is the first subscription, and I actually have another one that I will be getting soon, and then I will record an unboxing video for that one as well. Yeah,
it's your basic YouTube, kind of nerdy stuff, movie reviews, pop culture stuff, and like she said, getting in unboxings and things like that. Yeah, and you get to see what my kitchen looks like.
Yeah, so. Because the DVDs are behind me in the videos, so.
Yep. Yes, I have DVDs in the kitchen.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. The biggest thing that I have coming up soon, though, I did a review for The Babysitter for my pal Andy, who requested me to do that one. And I also did or I will be doing like Gretel and Hansel
Mm-hmm.
and Lords of Chaos soon.
Mm-hmm. Blair Witch.
And I already recorded Blair Witch.
Yeah. Invisible Man.
Which also, Blair Witch was also at the request of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was like one of the last horror movies she watched, and it scared her so much she decided she didn't want to watch them anymore.
Right.
And then, The Invisible Man, which may be something a little bit special because I really love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to work something out for that too. But that's kind of what's coming up, or what I have going on there. But it's, Hookzilla on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty easy to find. So if you listen to this and you don't know about that, now you do, and you can seek that out.
Mm-hmm. Like she said, people have requested stuff, and so far it's been things that she's already seen or I've already seen, whatever. But we also are very open to anyone who has a recommendation or a request or whatever. We're always watching movies, and if there's something I haven't seen that's like in my wheelhouse, I want to watch that. So
absolutely. And I mean, like with the two that were requested, The Babysitter and The Blair Witch Project, I'd already seen them both.
Sure.
But I really liked them both.
Yeah.
So
they're fun to talk about.
Going back to watch them again wasn't like,
yeah, right. And in the case of The Babysitter, it was only my second time watching it, and I watched it. We talked about it on my other podcast, but I haven't seen it since. So it was real fun to revisit.
Right. And you forget like little things about when you rewatch something that even if you liked it, you may not notice everything. So
yeah, because now we're bombarded with content and in every capacity. And so it's so easy to watch something once and be like, that was fucking great. And then be like, well, I've got to watch these other 75 things. So you never go back to it. You remember liking it, but you may not remember exactly why. So,
well, one of the worst traits that I have is almost like narcolepsy. So if I'm watching a movie by myself, 7 out of 10 times I fall asleep. It's not anything against the movie. It's just I'm by myself and I'm watching a movie and I fall asleep. It does not do that when I'm watching a movie with someone else. So watching a movie with you is helpful because I'm going to stay awake. But when I was watching movies before I would go to work or whatever, every time I would fall asleep. And that is to bring it back around to work. Tomorrow is officially my first day back. I've been out of work or off work for 12 weeks and super grateful to work for a company that will pay me throughout that time. I think the last couple weeks I wasn't earning a paycheck, but I can put in for paid time off and still get paid. It's been weird, to say the least, and I know that going back tomorrow, the dynamic of what my job entails will be totally different because I work retail, so customers have to be checked in. We're very limited on how many people can come in the building. I have to wear a face mask, which in your line of work is totally normal and you're used to it. In mine, it's very weird to me. But I really don't even know what my job's going to be. I'm very happy to go back to work. I miss the people I work with. And it's exciting, to not just stay in the house because I've done that. I know you haven't been able to do that. And I've, kind of feel guilty. I do feel guilty, if we're being honest. Like, I hate that you didn't get to do that. And I didn't really think that not being around people would bother me because it wasn't a thing. But I do miss the people I work with. So I'm excited to see them tomorrow.
I would love to never see the people I work with again.
Well, we work with totally different people.
Yeah.
But, I've had the opportunity to spend time with friends and family, and, you know, to have some amazing things working in the background that are, you know, drastically potentially changing my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like weird to go back to regular life tomorrow with all of these other things having drastically changed. So I'm excited.
That's good. I mean, you know, it's a good thing that you're excited about it, because I know a lot of people who've been out of work were like, you know, have dreaded going back to work or, you know, whatever. And it's like, I've seen people talk about it and how, like, having that weight lifted, because most people don't get to do what they like for a living. So most people are typically miserable. Like, the work is something you have to do so you can go home and do what you want to do. And, you know, I don't think you hate what you do.
No, I like what I do.
So it's, you know, I mean, I'm glad you're excited to go back and you get to go back to it.
Yeah. I get to go back to, you know, reduced hours, which means I don't have to work for as long. So, I mean, there are many benefits going on. It was a nice break. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got an Instapot and an air fryer thing, like the Instapot air fryer duo thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned how to make stuff.
Yep.
That's pretty much what I've done with this time off work. That is sad to admit that you were out of work for 12 weeks. What did you do? I cooked things.
Got an Instapot.
Got an Instapot.
Got a coffee maker. Used it.
Oh, I did get
Used it once.
I had told 3 times. I was going to get coffee today, and I was like, do I really want to do that? I don't drink caffeine that much, so when I do, it's like, ooh. You know, who doesn't want a really fancy coffee pot?
Me, I don't.
Yeah, you don't care. You don't drink coffee at all.
No.
I think that's the biggest thing is all this time off work. I was like Amazoning it up, like
Yes.
every day, and it's not over.
No.
Because I bought socks today and something else.
Slow down.
Yeah. But every day there were at least 2 packages, it seemed like.
Yep.
I was going a little crazy with the Amazon. But, you know, it's stuff I needed, like Instapots, and I don't know what else I bought online. It was a lot. But tomorrow's back to the real world, and like I said, I'm excited for that. So I think on that note, since tomorrow is like a school day for me, we should probably go ahead and wrap it up and get ready for bed, make sure my clothes are ready, and like, because I'm that level of crazy. But I appreciate you guys as always. And seriously, if you have any recommendations for comic shops that you want me to check out, just, you know, send me the info. Or if you have videos or movies that you want me to watch for the YouTube channel, you can also let me know those things, and I will do that as well. And you can always check out Mr. Bones' other podcast, which is Divided by Werewolves with Mr. Binky. And he's on Twitter pretty consistently, so if you ever want to shout out to him, you can get him on Twitter, which we've said 1,000,000 times.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm done. I'm done with this today. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No. Just check out the YouTube channel and interact with us. We want to talk to people. So.
Absolutely. Also, stay safe, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Play your music loud as you drive by my house.
Yeah, that's happening as we speak.
And yeah,
I feel that in my teeth.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But live your best life, man. Do you. Just be smart, be safe, think about other people, not just yourself. And yeah, it's a fucked up world we live in, so
yeah.
Take care.
All right then. So until next time, good night, everybody.